Over in the pages of DC Comics, writer Joshua Williamson is returning to both Batman and Robin in a brand new title. This is really interesting for me personally because Joshua Williamson has had some fantastic solo runs with both Batman and Robin. I think Robin entering the League of Lazarus tournament really cultivated his personality and established a strong supporting cast. My name is Arakel Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and see if Williamson is able to mend the fractured relationship between Batman and Robin in the series' debut issue. Before we get deeper into the video, I want to encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. Father and son, Bruce and Damian, Batman and Robin. From Batman vs. Robin to Night Terrors, a lot has happened to the dynamic duo, but now they are back together and ready to fight crime in Gotham just in time for Batman's most monstrous rogues to team up and turn the city into an urban jungle. A new villain watches from the shadows, intent on revenge with the plot to turn one of Batman's greatest assets against him. Batman and Robin issue 1 is written over from Joshua Williamson, featuring art and color from Simone Di Meo. We have letters in the issue over from Steve Wands, and we also have a cover coming in over from Simone Di Meo as well. Really like how this cover kind of introduces some of the aesthetic for the entire issue, and really love how the cover also introduces the full artistic art scene within the issue itself here. And of course, I want to extend a big thank you over to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this preview of the series here. Let's go ahead and kick off our review of Batman and Robin by talking about some of the incredibly dynamic pages coming in over from Simone Di Meo in this issue. Again, here, really thought Di Meo was able to capture so much intrigue in some of these pages. And also, I think Batman and Robin strike some really interesting poses here. However, there are some moments within the issue where I think it is really hard to follow some of the action sequences in particular. Also, I do have to hand it to Di Meo for introducing some really intriguing layouts here. In this scene a little bit later in the issue, I think Di Meo introduces so much subtext between Damian and Bruce. They've had so many issues in the past of their relationship, and watching them get the chance to sort of mend and move forward as father and son is so cathartic, and I love the way Di Meo is able to capture some of these frayed expressions from people like Damian over on this page. Again, I think this page also has some beautiful white panel borders over in the background, allowing for some negative space, and I think introducing a more lighthearted aesthetic over to this issue. Usually when we get Batman comics, they're incredibly dark, so I really like the fact that Di Meo, I think, is loosening the color palette. Di Meo also colored the issue in addition to drawing some of the interior art. As mentioned before, the only issue I really had with Di Meo's artwork was that it just can be hard to follow in certain instances. But I really appreciate how Di Meo really tries to tell the story in a fascinating and intriguing way, using techniques like panel bleeds and introducing the technology between Bruce and Damian in some really, really fascinating ways. I want to go ahead and speak a little bit about Joshua Williamson's script over on Batman and Robin issue 1. The sequence opens over with a shot in the Gotham Zoo, kind of establishing some of the themes over in this tale. I really like how these idea of zoo-themed Batman villains comes up in the issue again and again and again in so many different contexts. Readers get the chance to see Bruce and Damian take on White Rabbit as well following this sequence, which is one of our first introduction of a Batman-themed villain. At first, I did think the idea of using White Rabbit as your throwaway character to kind of introduce the dynamic between Damian and Bruce was a little bit underwhelming, but due to the fact that this issue is trying to set up this sort of zoo-themed status quo, I am on board and think that this is actually a pretty interesting direction here. However, what follows in the issue I think is much more interesting to me because we get the chance to really see Bruce and Damian expand on some of the aspects of their relationship. I really like the fact that Williamson strays away from some of the plot elements and just lets Bruce and Damian sort of reestablish their relationship within the context of the issue. There are so many sort of really tense scenes and select moments within the tale, but at the end of the day, Bruce and Damian both try and shed their animosity and come together here as a normal father and son. Watching Damian really get cold with Bruce towards the beginning of the issue, when Damian retreated into his room, really brought out some fascinating subtext in the issue. When Damian returns the next morning and actually starts to cook Bruce Wayne brunch, the issue lightens up a lot. However, this next sequence over in the issue was really intriguing to me, as Bruce sets up the idea that Damian is going to have to head over to school in the coming issues. Some of Bruce's reasonings for Damian going to school really set up and establish the fact that Bruce is trying to raise Damian as a concerned father, enroll him somewhere where he's going to be able to meet some new friends. I do love the fact that Damian is a little bit trepidatious and not willing to go along with some of these ideas at first. It feels like Damian's really kind of natural gravitational pull is to serve as Robin. So I am really interested to see if Batman and Robin is going to pick up on any of these plot threads from Damian's normal everyday school activities. I also love the fact that Bruce and Damian just took a few moments to reference the fact that Damian has been through a lot between his own run and everything that's going on over with the Batman property over at DC Comics. It's been event after event after event. So putting some of these elements in context and really kind of establishing where Damian is in the DC universe really makes this book speak to me in a very special way. I also like how Damian is able to get clued in to some of these ideas before Bruce is in the issue and actually helps him sort of continue his investigation. We get yet another reference to the fact that Damian really enjoys manga or sort of sketching within some of these issues, which was referenced clearly in the main Robin series over from DC Comics. If that wasn't intriguing enough here, just the way Simone Di Meo was able to capture Bruce Wayne stretching in some of these sequences, I think picks up on a lot of subtext over in this title as well. Towards the end of the issue, we get this fight over with Killer Croc and some other elements of the DC universe. Again, I thought it was interesting how Joshua Williamson is continuing to set up some of these ideas over with animal-themed villains, but I do hope that there are some additional elements over to this story with some of these zoo-themed creatures that are going to lead to some interesting plot dynamics outside of the concept of a couple animal-themed Batman villains. So at the end of the day here, I thought Batman and Robin 1 was a fantastic issue over from DC Comics. This tale really helped establish the relationship for Bruce and Damian, especially in the context of events that really tried to test the boundaries of their relationship. I'm really intrigued to see if Joshua Williamson is going to write this series akin to some of his work on Batman, where he sort of introduces a plot thread and then serves to strengthen it and go back over in the next issue. I'm really curious if some of these animal-themed villains are leading to a deeper antagonist or plot point over in Batman and Robin that is still yet to come here. Well, I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts over on this debut chapter for Batman and Robin? Did you enjoy this issue as much as I did? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to check out our debut review over for Batman and Robin issue 1. We'll be back to cover future installments of the series and to see where Bruce and Damian are headed next. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.